everyone. Tomorrow I will not be in class. As you know, tomorrow is 9/11 or September 11th, and you know, there are places that tend to pay tribute to what occurred on that particular day. And so I was asked recently to be a guest speaker at a middle school to just address what occurred on that day in terms of my situation. So I will be talking to 6th grade students, yay, in regards to what occurred, and just to give them an idea of how many people were touched and traumatized by that particular event, that horrific event. So I will not be in class. I thought I was going to be there as a guest speaker for about 30 minutes and return to school or come to school, and that's not the case. I'm going to be there until 3:30. So from 9 to 3:30 I'll be talking all day. Whew, what fun. But I'm honored anyway. So what I wanted to do is to make sure that we use our time wisely in class, and following Professor Freeman's class, we are going to, well, Professor Freeman will be bringing you to the Communication Center with he will bring you to the Communication Center, and Professor Amy Downs will go over the lab with you. She has done this with her students when she had a combined Reading 2 and Comp 1 class. So she is very efficient in terms of what is required. So she'll be going over the breakdown. And what I am going to be doing very shortly is just showing you briefly once again how to navigate through the Blackboard course. But the only way you can learn how to do it is if you try it. So you cannot say, oh, I'm so confused, or I don't know how to do it. Have you really navigated through the channels to ensure that you know how to use Blackboard? Okay, you're never going to learn unless you try. So first things first, here I already pulled up the Orientation Active Learning link, and what I'm going to do is select this link right here, okay, which you all should be doing, and many of you I know for a fact have done this already. Then you have the Active Reading Lab, okay, link. This is your cover sheet, the Word document that you would use to cover or to copy and paste your work. So all of this right here, okay, more or less you're going to type or copy and paste your score depending on what is asked. And I have a student sample from the spring semester when Professor Freeman and I taught a combined class with the students that we had, and I used their example to help demonstrate that, number one, it is possible to complete this assignment. Number two, it pretty much lays out what I expect. Okay? All right, so let's pretend as if I opened up this document, right, that's in red right here, which is the Word document. Let's pretend I had opened it up and I copied and pasted all of my work. Okay, let me just pull it up. This is not it. This is something else I'm going to show you in a little bit. Okay? Alright, so this is the cover sheet, and at this point in time I copied and pasted or typed in my responses, okay, my work. Got that? Okay, right down to active reading quiz, and I have my score right here. And as you can see, it's a total of 100 points. All of this accumulated. So what I will do is return back to, okay, Blackboard, and here I'm ready to go and upload my document. So I'm going to pretend as if I'm a student, select this blue link where you see the hand, open it up, and as you can see, the word submit is right over here. Okay, so that means it's an indicator that you're going to submit your work on this page. Okay, now scroll down. Many of you already know how to attach a document, so for those individuals that are struggling, please just help show them as well how to go about attaching your work. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do so. Okay, and this is a tablet that I'm using, so of course it's a little bit different, but I select my document. Let's pretend I did that. Select it. Okay, and I select open, and then I would select submit after doing so. Once you have selected submit, okay, the attachment will be located around this area, and it will look more or less like this, but it will be located beneath the Browse My Computer link. Okay, that's an indicator that everything has been attached. And again, you would select submit, and you're good to go. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now, what I also want to talk about, okay, is your second lab that is due, or second reading homework assignment that is due on September 25th. Okay, so you have a good amount of time for this assignment. Today's the 10th, so you have about 10 days. Okay, all right, come on. 15 days, excuse me. All right, so it opens up the vocabulary lab, and voila. Here you have a similar sheet, okay, similar document as the active learning cover sheet, okay, and it's slightly different, however, in terms of the instructions. So when you use the cover sheet as an example in terms of what you have to do, the assignments that are in black, okay, those are based on your diagnostic results. So if you did not do well on questions, and I'll show you how to identify that very shortly, but if you did not do well on the questions that pertain to vocabulary, based on that diagnostic test that all of you had taken during the first week of school, then you would have to work on these assignments, okay, that will help you to accumulate 100 points. All right, but let me just start from here. What I want you to do is to work from the bottom up. So in this particular case, from 6 to 8, everything that's in red right here, no matter how you perform on the diagnostic test, you have to do. Okay, so if you did not miss any questions, in other words, then you would only have to do the red portion where it says REQ. REQ stands for what, guys? Required. Okay, now once once you're completing the activities, you would copy and paste your scores once again. Okay, now say for example, say for instance you did not do well on the vocabulary question, so if you missed one or more questions on the diagnostic test that pertains to vocabulary, right, then you would have to use the point system in terms of 100 points. Okay, so you have to accumulate a total of 100 points for this assignment. So you start from the bottom up in terms of calculating how many points you have here. So 25 plus 20 equals 45, plus 10 more equals 55. Then you would need how many more points to get to your 100 points? 45. Okay, so you would select activities of your choice, okay, and ascertain your additional 45 points to get your 100. Now, for those of you that have only have to do the red portion right here, okay, you get the full 100 points regardless of the fact that it says 10, 20, and 25. Okay, so just be mindful of that. And again, Professor Downs, she is very cognizant in terms of how to go about doing this assignment, so just please make sure you listen to her, especially if you struggle. The instructions also indicate down here in terms of the required assignments, what you need to do. For the mastery quiz, once again, you copy and paste your score. For the thinking through the test, and we were even tested on this in terms of our course syllabus, you need to score a 70% or higher. If not, then you have to meet an instructional assistant for mediation before the 25th, okay? So you can't wait the last minute, all right? So next week we're going to be really going over vocabulary. We touched upon it last week based on the lesson that I taught, but you need to make sure that you see an instructional assistant. If not, then you get a 0 for the lab, for the homework, okay? And the instruction pretty much tells you what you have to do pertaining to each activity. So you need to read. What I do want to address, and we did talk about this last week at the orientation, are the tutoring sessions. Okay, so the reading help, there will be like little workshops here and there, and Professor Downs will talk more about that, that are conducted throughout the semester that has aided a lot of students in terms of being really efficient as writers and as readers. And you can also see someone in regards to the Writing Center, which is this link right here, and you get 15 points. So if you need help with Professor Freeman's paper or any of your other classes that requires for you to write a paper, you get points just based off of that. The only thing now, you just have to let me know on your cover sheet that looks like this. You would write in there, you know, saw an instructional assistant, and they will email me. I always receive an email indicating that you attended a workshop or a tutoring session. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like in terms of how you can identify whether or not you need to do the required or the diagnostic based activities. Okay, so I don't know if you remember this. Okay, this more or less looks like the paper that I handed out to you last week, the diagnostic results. It's a little bit dim and it's a little bit grayish, so I do apologize for it. It's kind of, you know, grainy, but at least you can see more or less the numbers where it says test items and the numbers from 1 to 5, 6 to 10. Those numbers that you see here are questions that correlate with the diagnostic test questions. Okay, so what you would do in order to indicate whether or not you did not do well on a particular question, you would locate the question number that pertains to either the dash or the letter, and if you receive a dash, that means it's a correct response, but if you receive an alphabet or a letter in that case, that means you had an incorrect response, and that was your incorrect response. Okay, so you count the amount of spaces to help you indicate which question pertains to which number. So in this particular case for the student, and this is just an example from one of my previous classes, not for the diagnostic but for the midterm exam, and this person passed very well, passed the exam. He or she missed question number 3. So the first dash represents question 1, the second dash represents question 2, the third dash represents question 3, and as you can see here, there's some kind of letter there, so that means that, okay, he missed this question or she missed this question. So I would note on a sheet that I will be providing you, or you can print out yourself, it's up to you, and let me pull it up for you. Okay, so I would note on here that, hey, I missed question number 3, so I would circle it. And the instructions are also clearly laid out. Okay, so make sure you read. So here's what that would look like. Okay, I would circle question number 3 because this is the question that I missed. Okay, so let's go back. All right, so again, you know, so far, all the way up to question 21 in his particular case or her case, they missed, he or she missed question 21. Okay, so I would go to my personalized sheet. Again, it's going to be attached. And I would circle once I've located the number, question 21. Here we go. Okay. Well, that's an awful circle, but you get the drift. Okay, now let's apply this to the vocabulary assignment that I just showed you. Let's say that you did not miss any of the questions, right? Ooh, from 7 to 7, 24, and 33. So let's say you did not miss that at all, right? Miss any of them at all. Then you're good. All you have to do, just so I can show you again, okay? All you have to do are the red activities that are down below, and you get your full 100. Okay, but if you missed, let's see if I can double. Oh, I can. All right, bam. Oops, sorry. Okay, so this is a better view. So if you missed, let's say question 7, 24, or 33, or just any one of those questions, right? Number 1, you would have circled it. Make sure. Okay. So number 1, you would have circled it, right? Okay. Because again, from your diagnostic, it indicates, right? So from your diagnostic, it would have indicated that you missed question 7 or 24 or 33, okay? So once you have identified that, then you would go and gravitate to this personalized learning plan. All right? So again, that's important because on the Blackboard, so when you return over here on Blackboard, okay, when you return back to the vocabulary assignment, it says here that you not only have to complete what's in red, but you also have to accumulate the 45 points that I told you. So again, when you count all this together, this is 55, then you need 45 more points. Okay, do not work under the points, so don't try to get like just 40 points and think that, okay, 40 plus the 55 is 100, I'm still going to get 100. No, you have to go a little bit above, okay? You might have to do that. It happens. It's not a big deal. So just be mindful of that, all right? Now, if you have any questions, again, you can ask me or Professor Downs or any one of the instructional assistants. And you would copy and paste your work for the most part, okay? So I'm going to move away from here, and I'm going to, by the way, before I move away from that, let me just quickly show you. This sheet, the personalized plan, this sheet right here, you will see it within announcements. Okay, so similar to what Professor Freeman has done in terms of providing you with announcements on a weekly basis, I'll be doing the same thing based off of what I just showed you. You will see the video and you will see an attachment for this particular sheet right here, and you can print it out, that's fine, but I'm giving you copies of it as well, okay? So it does make a difference, and you can just circle any of the questions that you have missed. You can do it ahead of time, or you can do it in class when I return back on Tuesday, okay? All right, the last thing I want to mention before I step away, I'm trying to make sure I don't exceed 16 minutes because I want to make sure that I don't talk too much. Just open this up. All right, so I just want to go over the homework real briefly. I'm praying that my little ones don't run in here and interrupt me while I'm recording. Okay, so on the 16th, you have the 75 readings plus, and you're doing something similar to what you did last class. We are going to resume from where we left off in terms of going over the other passages like shooting an elephant, salvation, because I do want to get your feedback. I want to talk about what you wrote on your chart paper. And not only will we be doing that, but we'll also be going over Professor Freeman's reading assignments as well. Okay, so for the 16th, for next week, he has the following reading assignments due. Okay, Once More to the Lake, a phenomenal story that I love as well, a partial remembrance of a Puerto Rican childhood, and also Beneath My House. So those 3 reading assignments are the 75 readings plus, and you're just doing the same thing in terms of either using the handout that I provided or doing it on loose leaf. Okay, and that's pretty much it in terms of homework. We will resume by going over the questions that you answered last week, or not last week, excuse me, this past Tuesday. So we will go over those questions, so please make sure you bring your green book to class, and we'll be going over vocabulary and main idea next week. Okay, so be prepared, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. All right, and enjoy your weekend. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. Bye.